Welcome guys, this is Take Him. My name is Los Santos. Here we have Carr, Watson, and Ace. Today we're gonna cover MLS playoff, second leg of the semifinals.
First game we got here is Toronto FC versus New York. The game ended 1-0 for New York, but Toronto advances with a away goal, so they won on aggregate. Anything about that game?
Highly controversial game. There were fights, there were cards, there was goals called back. Mad banter going on in the tunnel in halftime. Like it was a very intense game that just obviously led to these both sides acting the way they were. Deception involved. Jozy Altidore getting a push on Sacha Kljestan, falling a bit too easily. It was just so much drama. But from the get-go, when this game started, it was all TFC, avoiding the high press of Red Bulls, once again, what they're known for, and getting a lot of chances. But the moment things got heated, I think it got to the players' heads. I could tell that there were some Red Bulls players trying to provoke players like Giovinco and Altidore from getting any further, especially Tyler Adams, who was pushing Giovinco, and then finally when Giovinco got back to Tyler Adams with a slide tackle, Altidore came to his aid, which led to the whole Sacha thing. And then come halftime, both these guys, their yellow cards ended up being red cards. Why? The fight in the tunnel, which there's so many different rumors of what's going on, and right now the president, Bill Manning's trying to write an appealment letter so then the Altidore red card can be lifted for the first leg of the Columbus game. We saw videos, we reviewed it, and we can see from the Tunnel Club fans, the Red Bulls were going towards the area where Toronto FC are to end up in their locker room for the halftime period. Red Bulls supposed to divert to a different direction. They continue to go there, apparently waiting behind the doors. Altidore comes out and they lash out at him. It's not just the teams. Apparently there's some personnel and management involved. There were cops in there trying to separate, and even fans got in the midst of it. Yeah. And there's huge debate, what ended up happening, because there's just so much going on in the footage. But luckily there was a particular camera that security had that can justify and vindicate Altidore's red card situation, and I really hope we get him back for leg one, because he is a huge help for not only TFC but for Giovinco up front. As the game progressed without Altidore, Giovinco was getting a bit desperate up front. He dove way too much,
isolated,
way too much, and he got made fun of after the game about it. And he was begging the ref to make calls, and it came to the point where Giovinco got a yellow card because the ref was just sick of him being like, what was this, what was that, and that got annoying for me. And not only that, 1-0 for Red Bulls on a deflective goal. I mean, there's not much the keeper can do about it. It wasn't a fast deflective goal. I think Alex Bona should have just got to the post.
I don't know, it depends, because he was going one way, and the ball got deflected, and it's hard to go from one way to the other.
Royer shoots it to Bradley Wright Phillips, but Bono didn't commit to one direction before going in the other direction. It's almost like he stood still.
Yeah, because it froze him.
Yeah.
Because he's expecting to go that way.
Yeah, that too. And I think Bono just had faith that it was just going to go on the outskirts and then not get in. But a goal is a goal. It stands. What matters is that we go through on away goals. I mean, it wasn't the best conditions either.
It wasn't the prettiest game or anything.
Yeah. Didn't really like how Vasquez hung left too much, because there were times when we needed to sit deep on their high press, but we needed him in the central, and Michael Bradley was really pivotal on defending and countering and turning over the ball. So luckily our defense held it down with Mavinga coming off, Nicky Hanley coming in, great center back, and we stood still at a 2-2 draw.
So with the loss of Giovinco, for the next game, let's say Altidore's red card is lifted, who do you think is the best person to pair up with Altidore up top?
It would have to be Ricketts. I mean, he's more experienced than Hamilton. He has, he's been very, there was moments in the season that he scored crucial goals, and I think this is his time to shine again. And I feel like those two really read each other very well. Not that Giovinco and him don't. Obviously, Giovinco and Altidore complement each other. Giovinco, whatever he can't do, Altidore does. Holding up play with center backs, diverting them. So then Giovinco can, sneak his way in on the off shoulder of the defense, or wherever, through channel, whatever the case, he finds a way, but with Altidore's help. I would actually rather, if they find a way to lift Altidore's card as opposed to Giovinco's. Not that they're trying to, because Giovinco deserved the yellow. Because if we don't have both players for Columbus in the first leg, it's a high chance I don't think we'll win that game. Columbus are the biggest obstacle for me personally out of any other team left in this playoffs. I think if we can overcome them, we'll overcome the final when it comes. They are gaining momentum more than any other team. They have, I think, 13 games now to their name that they've won consistently. And like they are a huge threat. You see on polls that are saying Columbus are the only team that can contend against TFC now out of any team in the playoffs. But we'll see. We'll see what comes leg one. Thoughts, Watson?
I think we need to keep cool during the game. I think it got a bit out of hand. A lot to do. Yes, I understand it can get physical, and almost it looked like New York's game plan was to come in and try to get kind of things going and fights going and get red cards so that they have an advantage there.
Yeah.
And I think Altidore just got sucked into it so easily, and that's when you need veteran players on your team to just take them and say, this is a big game. You can't just get silly yellow cards for fighting and stuff like that. It's such a big game, especially when you're hoping to move forward onto the next rounds. So you need to look for the future games also, not just the game in front of you. The Altidore, his little dive there, trying to get the other guy sent off, was I don't know. It's not class. It's not class.
Yeah.
When you play football, that's not a classy act. Of course, the whole scene in the tunnel, the big fights and everything. Like for the last 30 minutes, we had nothing going up front.
No, we had to depend on counters. And
we were soaking up all their attacks. They kept coming. I'm surprised they didn't score a goal. Bono had a big save on Bradley Wright Phillips.
That was a big one.
Big save. He was on goal 1-on-1 with the keeper, and Bono came up big. It wasn't until we changed to 4 at the back. We brought on Osorio.
Yeah.
And I think we took Betashore off also. And it kind of switched the formation to 4 at the back instead of 3. It kind of put us more in the midfield and to support more up front too. Vasquez could go a little bit further up front. I think we really got lucky in that game to go through, because New York had big chances to score another one and seal the deal. But
and so did we. Like, to review the 2 goals that got called back. Well, I can agree that Vasquez's free kick goal. Well, it wasn't a goal, but it wasn't. It shouldn't have happened, because I mean it didn't anyways. He didn't blow the whistle
because the fans were on the ref. Everything,
the pressure.
All the pressure. I don't know. That ref wasn't too good at handling the game. And stuff like that. The whole game was kind of, I don't know. He wasn't the greatest ref, I don't think.
My opinion was, if he didn't give him permission in the first place, like he wouldn't go ahead and do it. But like in this case, he went ahead. Who knows what they said to each other. It was called back, but then there was the Osorio
thing, which was kind of lost because people thought he fouled the player,
but didn't.
This, that, but offside.
Yeah.
But it was so, everything was going on, and people were lost.
I was so convinced that was an own goal. It looked like it. To me, it looked like it. And then I saw the flag got raised in the review, and then I'm like, okay, like I don't really agree with that.
It wasn't until after that they explained that it was offside, but during the game, they didn't really explain that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Even the ref didn't really clear say to the linesman. So usually they point and say, "Oh, you're offside." Yeah. He made it seem like Osorio fouled the player.
Yeah, that's the implication. That's what we all thought.
So going forward to when we face Columbus.
Yeah.
For that first game in Columbus, do you guys think we should play defensive and hope to draw the game and win it back home at TFC?
If we have Altidore for that game, then you can go for it, because you have Altidore who can hold
Ricketts.
it up. You have Ricketts with the pace and stuff like that to run off Altidore, so you have that force up top to go attack.
And another thing we need to take account is this. Even though TFC are good and impervious to pressure, and they take things game by game, and they don't ruin their momentum with negative mentality, what I hope they don't take from this loss to New York is that we lost to them. We're declining. We're losing. I want them to go in with a positive mentality, because you have teams like Columbus who are doing that, and they're winning because they're thriving off that, like their ambitiousness, and just like.
But they should go in and just forget what happened.
And I hope they can do that. I don't want them to reflect
and see what they have to do to beat Columbus.
I don't want them to
forget what happened in New York with the red cards and everything, all that stuff.
Yeah,
they should just get that out and just go and say, okay, this is how Columbus plays.
Exactly.
This is what they're going to do. Okay, this is the job we have to do. Greg Vanney has to come and say, this is what we're going to set up. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And go do that. And if TFC execute the way that they've been playing all season, then they should be able to beat Columbus. They are the
They
better
should.
team on
They
paper,
are, on paper.
but it just depends if they're gonna take that team on paper and do the performance on the pitch. So
I'll say it again. Columbus is the biggest obstacle on the map for Toronto FC. I still
as a
predict
team,
as a team, without
they're one of the
progression,
hardest
yeah.
teams.
But-
But
yeah.
mentally, Seattle, if they make it to the finals,
I
Seattle
think so.
mentally is probably more of a challenge to TFC, knowing that we lost to them in the finals last year, but it'll also be more of a motivation to beat them this year.
And they know to make the proper adjustments,
Yeah.
you know. And I just want them to put this New York game out the window. They've gone through. Let's move forward. As for the New York City FC Columbus game, Columbus on that big momentum climb, like I said, they lost 2-0 in New York. New York making some really proper adjustments. Villa getting on the score sheet with some great goals. It seemed for a minute that, you know, Columbus were losing that momentum during the game, and that it's something that we would need considering that New York beat us.
New York scores one more goal and they go through
Yeah,
because they would have gone through in away goals
Yeah.
because Columbus
Yeah.
has no away goals.
exactly.
So
Thankfully, they had a
Yeah.
4-goal.
Yeah, So
And
thankfully they won 4-1 before. So
Crucial. Patrick Vieira made some very good adjustments to make that possible. By the way, it was Andrea Pirlo's last game ever as a professional.
Yeah, he retired.
Shout out to Andrea Pirlo. You're a big fan.
yeah.
You know, I think they gave
genius
it their
is
all.
retired, yeah.
They knew it was their last game of the season. They had nothing to lose.
They had to go for
They had
all
to
for
go
it. They
for
go for
all
it, yeah.
guns blazing. You know, and they tried their best, but you know, Columbus have been the hardest to penetrate. Even though their center backs have made mistakes, Josh Williams, you know, leading up to that penalty that David Villa made, it was just not enough.
But it does show that there's weakness in their defense.
Oh,
so
yeah,
Toronto
yeah.
should be analyzing that game
Exactly.
especially,
And
you see how New York penetrated their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, the first game that you watched when they won 4-1, they looked solid, everything. But then New York, when they came back home, they beat Columbus 2-0, and they showed that yes, there are little weaknesses in the defense that they can penetrate, that they can use in the next game.
And it will be easier for them because one of Columbus's center backs is a former TFC player, Josh Williams. He just played with us last year.
Mm-hmm.
And they know how he plays very well. So that's something of an advantage. The other thing is they have to intercept Will Trapp, their defensive mid, who's been leading the completion rate of passing in the league. And then Federico Higuain, Higuain's older brother, the Higuain we know from Juventus, has been playmaking and creating so many different plays to lead up to goals into that. But yeah, ultimately Columbus were the better team over the course of 2 legs, and that's what it is.
Yep.
Heading over to the West, though, surprising, another momentumous team with Houston beating Portland. My prediction was Portland was going to win against Houston, but their attackers have been just too overwhelming, especially for their defense. It's one thing I couldn't appreciate with Portland this season, considering they weren't using their starting keeper for majority of it. Manotas, Elis, like they're just phenomenal guys that TFC need to look out for if Houston.
Yeah,
manages-
Dynamo's like a sleeper team, you know?
Yeah.
They go by their business very silently. Like they got the win 2-1 on aggregate.
And
You know, no one's really going like, oh, Houston Dynamo. You know, they're not really talking too much about them, but they're going by their business. They're getting the wins. They're going through to the conference finals.
and
Against Seattle, can they get something?
I don't think so. I don't think they
Seattle would look pretty good against Vancouver.
can. Overall, there's just if you talk the second runner-up team in terms of depth to Toronto, it's going to be Seattle, and it's all there. Like I feel that will be the difference coming
Yeah.
down to the personnel. But you know, Houston did defend better than Portland. They got Felipe Senderos, ex-Arsenal center back that you guys know very well. He's been phenomenal for the team, and their goalie Tyler Derrick. It could go either way. You know, at this point, it's hard to predict. Like you know, those guys are getting very, you know, uphill with their progress. But you know, I still think Seattle. Like going back to our last game now, Vancouver.
Seattle.
Clint Dempsey. You know,
He came up big.
He came up big. You know, 34 years old, scores a brace. Made his presence
Still
dominant. Still got it,
got it.
man. Still got it. You know, whatever he carried over from England is still here. He wasn't fit last year as to why Seattle went all the way. They obviously had to reflect on everybody else in the team to depend on that. But now that Dempsey is in the picture, it's even more of a threat that we TFC need to monitor.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Bradley Altidore, who know him very well, will be able to deal with him.
But Vancouver did pretty well against Seattle. Seattle only won 2-0 on aggregate. They were that game. They're in most of the game till 56th minute where they scored their first goal, and they didn't score another one until late in the 86th minute, 87th minute. So most of the game, Vancouver was there and they had chances, but
It wasn't
You know,
a breeze for sure for Seattle.
but-
It wasn't a breeze.
world-class players come for the big games and they score and they put their teams through. So Dempsey came through
Definitely,
big, 2 goals.
definitely.
He's been doing that on all the different stages, international, in England, and in U.S. also. So, big up to him, big up to Seattle.
And Will Bruin and Stephen Fry
Yeah,
and Lodiro, my favorite player on the team. Like this team is with immense talent, and I think even at this point of the game, despite that Houston is also gaining momentum in the West,
Yeah.
I still think Seattle and Toronto will be.
I think it's gonna be a rematch. Rematch at BMO Field. A nice snowy night at BMO Field, December 9th.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be that. It's gonna be that kind of game. -10,
Yeah.
Cold
Again.
and snowy.
Again. But hopefully
Hopefully TFC will nick this one and win this one,
we need to make the adjustment.
Yeah, hopefully TFC won't
and then we could have the parade.
play like last year. Go on
Man,
with the tissue
I can't see it happening twice. What do you think, Adrian? Do you think it's
Is it
gonna
twice?
I was gonna ask what are people's predictions for the next round, but going on to that, I can see if TFC have all their players
Healthy.
ready to play and healthy
No
for the
cards.
finals, no cards,
Yeah.
no question we'll win it.
Well,
I think so.
We'll win it.
But
But
yeah,
the thing is, it's like the Toronto, not the curse, but like it's a Toronto thing. Like
It's
when
a
we get to the
curse.
final,
It's a curse.
when we get to the finals,
we choke.
we choke. Like
Curse.
Toronto doesn't win championships. We haven't won championships in a long, long
and
time.
I think that's why there's so many people jumping on the bandwagon right now. in the
Yeah,
city.
Toronto FC.
Just because they know TFC is the most competitive.
Because we're itching for a trophy. We're itching for
team in the city,
the
yeah.
winning team to win it all. Because everyone wants to go on a parade.
Yeah, we want to find an excuse to party.
I want to
right
go
now.
on a parade.
Yeah.
I want to bring Take Aim on the parade.
I don't want our last championship in the city being from the Rocks, right? Like how many people watch lacrosse? Like I love lacrosse, but like
or CFL either. Bro, no one
yeah,
watches-
Argos are doing good right now, but
no one watches Canadian
without
football.
a doubt, right now
Yeah.
TFC is the most competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can say the Leafs, even though Leafs are starting to lose games again, and then Raptors have a big challenge in front of them. We won't even get to that, but definitely TFC. And you know what? I still have confidence they'll take this whole thing. That's my
All
thoughts.
right, yeah. I was gonna ask predictions for next round. What do you see?
So,
coming on
right
top
now,
of this game?
I think first leg Columbus, Toronto
Yeah.
0-0.
I think actually Columbus will win that game.
Really?
But we will come back in the home.
I
leg.
think it will be a Columbus 0-0
Yeah.
first leg.
I think. No.
Cool, I said first leg. What do you think first leg?
I think 0-0 first.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a 0-0 draw. And then second leg, we're going to come home and maybe win like a 1-0 or 2-0.
I think it's going to be 1-0 in Columbus. We lose to them, and then 2-0 at home when we come back.
I'm actually predicting a TFC win in Columbus. A 1-0
Really?
for us.
So
I
hold
see
on,
it
hold on.
going
Yeah, I can
Here's-
see that happening.
but here's the
1-0,
difference.
you know,
Remember,
It depends I think if they can get an early goal against Columbus in Columbus, that it can change the whole
But you gotta
game.
see-
But it
But
depends.
wait, Altidore and Giovinco though. We know we're
Yeah.
missing Giovinco indefinitely.
Yeah.
What about
If,
Altidore?
if we do have Altidore, yes. I'm saying
Then the prediction stays the same.
1-0 for Toronto. That's
So
I'm
what
saying.
about without Altidore? The prediction stay the same?
If we don't have Altidore,
That's the
then
thing.
it's a tie. To me, it's a tie.
We
Yeah.
still
Because
don't.
despite missing those two up top, we still have
No
the same
Altidore,
defensive
no
caliber.
Altidore is a tie for sure.
We still have the same defensive caliber.
And it's true, Vasquez can still contribute. He's been scoring goals.
Yeah.
Hamilton is a young Scarborough man.
Ricketts, man, don't sleep on Ricketts
Yeah.
too, man.
Scarborough
Ricketts
team.
can he can nick a goal in a game,
He's known in this team for scoring crucial goals when they matter.
especially last year's playoff.
Last
He
year's playoff,
scored
yeah.
big
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah, and I think he can
So-
do it again.
I think he can do it
If
again.
we have Altidore with Ricketts, it's a one.
They,
one
they,
could-
they
yeah,
can
there's-
work well.
there's a
Rick-
possibility.
It's Ricketts that doesn't work well with Giovinco, I've noticed. So that partnership with Altidore,
But
yeah.
the only thing is that knowing that going into the game is that you don't want to concede at Columbus,
no,
right?
no, yeah.
If we can score a goal at Columbus, that gives us the away
That's
goal.
what I
That's
was saying,
big.
though.
That's big, but you do not want to concede at Columbus. Because, yeah, I know you're going home and that you're going to have the fans behind you. But being down 1-0 going
It's
home,
hard.
it's
It's
hard.
hard,
It
because
is.
You still have to go home and score.
Yeah.
And they can just sit back the whole game and soak up all the pressure and just let you try to beat their 9 defenders.
As I said
So-
though, if Altidor's not playing, we lost 2 strikers, attacking players.
Yeah.
Our defensive caliber is still the same.
It's
Yeah.
good. Nick
And we still have
Hamilton's
Bradley
good.
there,
Bradley.
so we still have
And
Bradley
Bradley,
there.
Bradley is the most important player in our whole squad.
But the thing is, Bradley has to be careful this game because if he gets a yellow card, then he misses a second leg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the thing. He already got carded once at halftime when he was standing up for Altidore at the
Yeah,
New York
yeah.
Jets.
When he was
And I think he will be careful because he has a role fulfilled as a captain. He
He knows,
represents the
yes,
team. He
he
knows.
knows.
He's actually very good at that. But his job is marking Federico Higuain, and he hasn't been easy.
So that's what I'm saying. It could easily get a yellow card and missing him at home
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
So
We'll see what
it's gonna be
happens.
interesting.
I'm
I-
confident.
In the West,
Yeah, the West.
I think it will be close. I don't think Seattle will run away against Houston.
It will be a
I think
close
it's
game,
okay.
but I think Seattle will let. will
Yeah.
let
I think they'll finish over the 2 legs at 2-0.
Yeah, I say 2.
I think maybe like a 1-0 Seattle both games.
I-
2-1.
No,
I think-
I say probably a 1-0.
I think
Houston.
I think Houston's gonna
You think Houston's gonna go through?
I think both
Not go
those
through,
teams.
but first
First
leg,
game,
I
you think?
Yeah, I think they're gonna score.
Oh yeah, because it is in Houston.
Yeah.
You never know.
I'm gonna go with a higher aggregate score and say 4-3 Seattle.
4-3.
Yeah,
Whoa.
because
You
those
think
guys
goals,
are very attack savvy. Those guys.
You
They,
think goals?
Houston
lots of
and
goals,
Seattle,
lots of
yeah.
goals.
Lots of goals.
in this case, yeah,
But we have to wait freaking like 2 weeks now because international break.
yeah, we're looking
Which
close
kinda
to the end of the
sucks,
month. November 29th
I
will be
mean,
the whole
it's
length.
good though. You know, like we get to relax
And the
think
players need
and
it.
examine
They
what
need
we
it.
need to do for
Yeah.
the next.
I know. It's something that's needed.
It also
for
gives
Toronto.
time for the league to review Altidor's red card.
Yeah,
So
and which we really hope that passes.
hopefully he can play
But overall,
and get us to the finals.
yeah, like that's what we need. We need all our players.
Because we need
be
to
able
take aim for the finals. That's what we need to do.
But that concludes our video. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. But make sure to take aim next time for our future Champions League reviews and Premier League match week 12. Thanks.
This is the game.
Well, this guy dropped his phone again, bro.
Say my name again.